Hello and welcome to Radical Living. I'm your host, Shoeless Joe, and today we are talking about how to deal with non-minimalist family members.
We are family.
So for a lot of us who became minimalists, we became minimalists after we became a part of a family. And for some strange reason, our families aren't always super 100% thrilled about the fact that we want to get rid of everything that we have. Now, we don't really want to get rid of everything, but they seem to act like it's the end of the world. I mean, why would you have a problem with someone just saying, hey, you know all this stuff that you're used to having? Let's get rid of it. Chuck it, chuck it, chuck it. And no matter how many times we sing that Frozen song at them, they just don't seem to get it, that it will just feel so good to... I'm not singing that. I'm not gonna sing that. I Ordonez says, what do you think is a good way to handle family members that aren't on board with minimalism? I feel like I'm constantly nagging my family to declutter. We have gotten rid of a good amount of stuff, but there is tons and tons more. I Ordonez, I feel ya. I got on the minimalist train after I already had a wife and a couple kids. It was interesting. And it still is interesting. I think the worst thing that we can do when we have non-minimalist family members who are like, what is this? Like, why would I want to get rid of things? We have things, we want things, why get rid of things? What? The last thing we want to do is nag them, and it's so hard not to. And I fall into this trap. You just keep nagging like, hey, come on, get rid of more stuff. Hey, you know what we should do today? We should just get rid of all the things. But that's not what they want to do. So I think it's more important that we work on helping them become motivated and inspired to want this same type of lifestyle. It's hard to live with people when you have conflicting goals for lifestyle. That's just an issue. So if you're someone who lives with a husband, wife, kids, any of those who don't really want to get rid of anything, and they're kind of like, no, they're like a dragon on their hoard, right? Do not touch my stuff. It will take time. Rome was not built in a day, and wait, wasn't Rome, Rome was not built in a day, but it was destroyed in a second. So maybe we can do this. Just burn the house down. You know what, why don't we just, if you just light your house on fire, what are they gonna do? Besides potentially die. So maybe that's not the best option. Rome wasn't built in a day, but it burned in one. I knew it. See? Burn it. Burn it to the ground. I mean, here's the thing. When you get excited about minimalism, like when you're first discovering it, at least for me, I was like, go, all of it, just... But not everyone else in your family is going to be on board with that, right? So they're like, not even close to being there. So what is it that inspired you to become a minimalist? And how can we help to inspire them? It might be a blog that you found and started reading. It might be someone's YouTube videos you started watching. Maybe it was a book, maybe it was a documentary. What was it? Show it to them. And if that's not effective, show them something else. If you don't know what to show them or can't find anything that you think would be effective for them, I suggest for women, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. And for men, Goodbye Things by Fumio Sasaki. Now, of course, you want to look into those books and see what's going to fit better, but those, I think, are the two just hardcore, awesome beginners for minimalists. They're both Japanese authors. One is a man, one is a woman. I just think they both relate to those sexes more, but it's up to you to think about the person you're trying to help out. But those books are more for adults. What about kids? What if your kids are like, Mom, Dad, no, just these are my things, just no. One thing that I found helpful when I was starting the minimalist journey with my kids, and granted they were young, so you might have a different experience with older kids, but with my kids, I talked with them a lot about not just having too much stuff, but also about how we can give it away for people who don't have as much as we do. And that really seemed to resonate with them. I think kids, especially at a younger age, are more naturally generous and giving and understanding of, oh, there's kids out there who maybe don't have a lot of toys. Well, yeah, if we can give these away and those kids can get the toys, they're all for it. So that's something you might consider. But the main thing to remember is that this will take time. So I suggest focusing on yourself and your personal possessions, right? Those we can purge, and maybe you've already done that. When it comes to other items, something that I would sometimes do is say if we've got a lot of excess of this, or maybe duplicates or things that are similar, maybe just suggest to your spouse or kids like, hey, we've got all of these items. I would rather get rid of them all, but maybe can we just get rid of half of them? Or is there just one that we use the most, or one favorite item or something like that? This is something that I did with things like pots and pans. I just took them all out. That can be helpful, and that's one of the things that KonMari talks about in that book is get everything out at once. It's a similar item, and it can be more obvious to those in the family that aren't on board that, look at all this, do we really need all of these pots and pans? These are similar size, which one do we use more? Maybe we can just get rid of them. My wife had a bunch of scarves, all these different scarves that she didn't wear ever. So I would say, you know, let's get rid of all the scarves, but she was not going to do that. She loved her scarves, and someday she was going to wear them. So then maybe we can get rid of some of the scarves, maybe just like some, and keep like one or two. So I think that could be helpful. Lay it all out and show them this is excessive. There might be other people who could use these. Maybe we could just go down to having just a couple of them instead of a million. Another thing you might want to consider is sitting down with your family and actually just having a conversation about how you want your family to live and what you want your environment to be, and express to them, look, this is my vision. This is what our house could be. This is how we could live. Maybe just show them some pictures of minimalist spaces. I think that can be really effective to just see and say, wouldn't this be peaceful? Wouldn't it be nice to just come home to this where there's not clutter around and you can just breathe and relax and you don't have all these things to clean and fix and worry about? And then ask them, what is your ideal space? This is mine. What is yours? When you come home, what would you like to come home to? And they've probably never thought about that before, right? So when you give them this kind of inspirational image, maybe that will inspire them, and maybe they'll start to think, that would be nice to come home to, actually. This clutter is kind of obnoxious. But at the end of the day, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't shove its face in and make it drink, right? It's just not gonna happen. Patience, Iago, patience. Take your time. You don't have to do it all at once. They don't have to get rid of everything today. Every once in a while, just bring it up. And I think if we're nagging too much and just it feels like we're just always nagging, I like to change things into a question. So just ask them, hey, do you still use this? I haven't seen you use it all. I'm just curious. I'm not telling you have to get rid of it. I'm just asking, just posing a question, right? Because questions can be much less combative than saying, I really think we should get rid of this. You need to ditch that. You haven't worn that sweater. That thing is hideous. Get rid of it. When was the last time you used this? Just curious. Like, maybe we could, there's a donation box. I thought we could just, no? Okay, that's cool. But hey, what do I know? I'm no expert. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below how you have dealt with family members that maybe aren't quite on board with minimalism like you'd like them to be. What are your tips? Let's get a conversation going. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, keep it simple, question everything, and stay radical.
All she said was she never knew me at all. But when she left nothing in return. What a simple day.
What cat? Go away. I can't have you meowing through this video.